Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Virgo March 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is Mars will be in Taurus, and the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. This could be about very deliberate, persistent, and plotting and methodical energy in ninth house matters. Can be very ponderous energy, pondering a lot of this before actually taking action on it, such as higher education, religion. Could even be taking a long distance journey, traveling abroad, publishing activities with in-laws and grandchildren. There could be a lot of energy and vitality put into higher education matters at this time, and other ninth house related matters. It could also be about stubborn and persistent battles with ninth house people, such as in-laws and grandchildren. It could be people at a religious congregation or college, university, foreigners. Also, the situation generally with in-laws and grandchildren may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. And also, this is something too where looking at this, well, if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you might find yourself involved in some sexual liaison or interlude, perhaps with a Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person. It could be someone in a foreign country, somebody you meet at a college, university, could be traveling abroad, perhaps. It could also be, too, this is something where, just a lot, when you're looking at this Taurus energy, it could be a lot of latent energy that is being used for ninth house related matters during this time. Remember, slowly but surely, very methodical type energy. So, and it could be, too, where you might be putting a lot of energy into doing as far as higher education. It could be Taurus related higher education matters, or subjects or what have you, such as architecture, agriculture, something with banking, financing, studying to be a stockbroker, pawnbroker, if that is actually if there is actually a course for that. Anything that could be Taurus related. Next thing up, Jupiter will still be in Sagittarius, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, as I've talked about previously, Jupiter can be paradoxical. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but also a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this could expand and enlarge foolhardy, reckless, over-optimistic, even tactless behavior in connection with home and family members. It could be even doing things around the home if you're trying to add a partition or doing it or some extension and trying to get it done in a certain amount of time. Just be careful not to be overly optimistic at this time. And also, too, this could be about also another way this may manifest. This could be, again, could be a fortuitous for the expansion of the home, and also expansion perhaps of maybe jocular and jovial energy with people you're close to home with. Could be very auspicious for humor and goodwill, and really at the latter part of one's life, if you're in that latter stage, especially. But at the same time, this could be something where you may be showing a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm for the outdoors and sports, Sagittarius related things with family members, people you're close to home with, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. Could also be very fortuitous and auspicious for getting to who you are at the core, so to speak. Could be, you might be finding that you have these Sagittarius-like qualities more so at the core than you really realize were even cognizant of before. Such as being maybe more expansive, more jocular, more flippant, actually more optimistic than perhaps you may have previously realized. But when you're talking about qualities at the core, of course, you have to be digging fairly deep in order to find it, but it doesn't mean those qualities aren't there. Anyway, Next thing up, Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, Virgo, you might find yourself feeling certain restrictions and limitations regarding fun, amusement, and enjoyment. This could be something where, in some cases, this may manifest in taking care of a sickly or debilitated lover, or it could be a child. It could be anyone that might be fifth house related, such as maybe somebody you're close with that you share some creative endeavor with, or a hobby or a thing of amusement. And it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. But at the same time, this could be giving yourself some structure and discipline in your love life in matters with children, and also taking responsibility if there's any gambling debts at this point in time. It could be a good, a period where you may be able to have better chance of doing that, because Saturn can be about responsibility. Now, at the same time, some cases this could manifest in a government restriction that might be maybe prohibiting you from having your fun, amusement, and enjoyment. But at the same time, some cases this could be just about maybe doing something where you're really, your personal popularity might be restricted this time. But at the same time, you might be, it could be about maybe just seriousness in sports and in games and things, and just really that's how another way that this could manifest in some cases. Remember that Saturn and Capricorn energy could be about timekeeping. It could be where maybe one of your hobbies at this time might be involving timing certain things. And also too, I could see this manifesting perhaps as maybe something for some fun, amusement, or enjoyment, like maybe doing maybe something with models, and like model planes or model cars, putting them together. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of patience to be doing those kind of things. That could be very Saturn related at this time. So anyway, and at this time, anyway, next thing up, Uranus will be in Aries as far as March goes, from the 1st until the 6th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, one way, this could be about perhaps unpredictable, volatile, acrimonious outbursts, perhaps from someone you're in an intimate relationship with, or sexual relationship with, or a shared resources situation with at this time. Now, also too, another way this may manifest, this could also be about Aries friendships. It could be Aries Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Aries-like characteristics, may figure more prominently, maybe making a major change or transformation, or in some cases with your shared resources situations. It could be monetary, emotional, or moral support, and even crisis situations. Now, as far as, like, say, crisis situations, for example, a lot of this can be, whether they're to your detriment or whether they're positive, a lot of it can be predicated and dependent on aspects this makes to points in your natal chart. If this makes is something where, like, if it makes an adverse aspect to Pluto, this could really make it to where it might actually be to your detriment, perhaps, or even, like, say, to Saturn. It could be where they might be causing more issues, or causing some kind of crisis where you may making you feel somewhat despondent or melancholy, and really just feeling down and out. So just a lot of it, again, depends on the aspects that are made to points in your natal chart. The reason I was talking about Pluto before, if it makes an adverse aspect to Pluto, because Pluto is something where a planet, connected with, I would say, connected with crisis, because it does correspond with the 8th house in astrology, and that could kind of really be something where they might actually have a negative effect on that. So anyway, and also too, Another way this may pan out too, this could be something where you might experience some unusual activity with your credit cards. It could be some unanticipated tax insurance issues. Sometimes it could manifest in an unanticipated tax break or even owing more money. And a lot of this, again, could be dependent and predicated on aspects this makes to points in your chart. If it makes a positive sextile or trine to your natal Venus, it could result or manifest in an unanticipated tax break or even a positive aspect to Jupiter. But if it makes an adverse aspect, say, to your natal Venus, then it could be where you might actually owe more money than you might have anticipated. Say if this was a tax related matter. So anyway, and also in some cases this could be about getting some kind of Uranus like surgery. It could be a surgery of an unusual nature, unorthodox nature, such as maybe some cases medic robotics maybe playing a role in surgery. I believe robots do. They do have it where these robots or microbots or something can actually do perform surgery, but that is very isolated, and you can look that up to confirm that, but I do believe they have something like that. Or something where you're making some kind, or the surgery could be connected with the calves or ankles or shins, something that could be Uranus related. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. Anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus as far as March goes, from the 6th until the 31st. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, well, one way this may manifest is that Taurus friendships, it could be Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics, might figure more prominently, perhaps in your philosophy. It could be higher education, could be going outside the box, so to speak, expanding your horizons, abstract thinking. It could also be where you might be experiencing more unusual, stubborn, and obstinate behavior from in-laws, from grandchildren, people you may know at a religious congregation or college, university. It could be foreigners. But at the same time, on a positive end, you may find yourself doing something. You're doing some kind of Uranus-like publishing. It could be doing something, publishing something in connection with computers or something about electronics, the future, perhaps innovation. Could be something with astronomy, aerospace, even rocket science in some cases. Now, also too, you might find yourself perhaps formulating some new money-making ideas, which you might apply towards something 9th house related, such as maybe getting a college education or doing something, maybe some publishing or taking long distance journeys. And I'm jokingly saying this could be maybe about having getting involved in an unorthodox religion, but I'm only joking, of course, being flippant. But perhaps this could manifest though as maybe adopting some kind of unusual philosophy at this point in time is another way this may pan out, I believe. So anyway, and also remember to this Uranus energy could be very erratic and sporadic, so the connection with in-laws, grandchildren, 9th house people in general might be a little bit more inconsistent and erratic and sporadic than usual at this time. Anyway, next thing up, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, well, I mean, I have this placement natally, and it's almost like I have relationships that are almost perpetually dissipating and dissolving. And I mean, the difference is like with Neptune energy in contrast to Pluto. Some of you may wonder, well, what sounds like Neptune is similar to Pluto that way. Well, there's Neptune and Pluto can be similar. Neptune, when I'm talking about dissipation, dissolving, it's more of a gradual kind of dissipation, dissolving. You might see connections, gradually dissolve and disappear, where you might, say you see somebody every day one moment, then all of a sudden it's like every 2 or 3 days, then it's once a week, and then they gradually they kind of dissipate out of your life. But what happens is, like with Pluto, is more of an automatic thing. I think sometimes with Pluto, things will just sometimes just end just like basically like this, like in almost instantaneously, where you don't really have that gradual dissolving of the relationship or connections that are 7th house related in this case. But it's really, and also too, this is when you're talking about Neptune in the seventh house, could be about difficulty in deciphering character composition of others. Even open adversaries may seem somewhat obscure or nebulous or unclear at this time. But at the same time, on a positive end, this could be about maybe public speaking on the metaphysical, which include astrology or even spirituality. Um, the problem too with this though is that, I mean, as I stated before, I have this natally. Sometimes this could wind up, you could have a propensity to attract, that they'll say negative, real negative people, but ones that might be, sometimes it's people that could be involved in drugs or alcohol or very deceptive and duplicitous people. And a lot of it, I mean, could depend, again, we're talking about the aspects that are made to points in your chart when this happens. I mean, as I talked about, I mean, this could be where you could be, well, what I want to say is another way this could manifest. This could be about Neptune partnerships or even some kind of competition, such as like something with dancing or something with metaphysical, which include astrology or poetry. But whether you actually do anything about it or not, what I want to get to now is a lot of it can be predicated on the aspects this makes. Now, I mean, Neptune energy can be a little bit lazy energy. I think a lot of it can be fantasizing and dreaming. But when you have, like when I talked about before, that this could be about Neptune-like partnership or competition, or, I mean, if you're having, like, say, Neptune making an adverse aspect, say, to your Sun, your Ascendant, or Mars, you might feel more like, you might be feeling more lethargic and not have that vitality as much. You might be more inclined to just fantasizing or dreaming as opposed to taking action on these matters. Now, at the same time, this could be, again, the negative on this is that you can have a propensity to attract people that, I mean, that might be involved in some kind of drugs or some kind of alcohol situation, but you might find yourself doing a lot of sacrificing in your relationships and doing a lot more for others and not really getting a lot of reciprocation from others at this time. And I understand, can empathize, because as I stated before, I have this natally. So anyway, last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. A lot of this could manifest in a literal death, and it could be of a child in some cases. It could be of a lover, someone you might be having a romantic situation with. Someone you might share some kind of creative endeavor with that you're close with, or something with a person you may know that you share some kind of amusement with or some kind of hobby with. You might find yourself dealing with more upheavals and power struggles in romantic relationships at this time. Be very careful that this doesn't manifest in some kind of compulsive gambling situation at this time. And at the same time, on a positive note, you might find yourself doing something perhaps that's Plutonian-like as far as enjoyment, such as, I mean, it could be recycling, something with the occult or supernatural. Astrology could be in there, and even going around just kind of with a metal detector, because, well, I mean, Pluto energy could be about searching, and so in this case could be searching beneath the surface. If you're going around with a metal detector, you might be able to find something perhaps under the ground somewhere, under that surface. So you understand what I'm saying. So anyway, we're also enjoying psychology or anything that could be Pluto related at this time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Virgo March 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Libra March 2019 horoscope forecast, part 1 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.